Cold Snapdragon. A variant based on the plant of the same name, the Snapdragon's origin comes from the unique shape of its petals. From the right angle, these flowers resemble the head of a dragon. PopCap, of course, decided to take this literally, resulting in the both adorable and deadly plant we have today. However, in real life, the Snapdragon also hides a very dark secret, as when it dies, its once beautifully coloured petals turn into what look like skulls. Anyway, while Snapdragons thrive mostly in the warmer seasons, it can be pretty resilient in colder climates as well. This brings us nicely to Cold Snapdragon. Released in December 2015, this premium plant costing just 150 Sun and having a mere 5-second recharge, the Cold Snapdragon works almost identically to its original counterpart, but using the powers of ice and snow. Cold Snapdragon breathes icy mist in a 2x3 area, which unlike Fire Snapdragon doesn't hit the tile beneath, above or below itself, only the two sets in front. Both Snapdragons do the same amount of damage, but Cold Snapdragon can also chill and slow zombies, essentially boosting its damage. 2 rows of a regular snappers can take down cone heads, whereas 2 rows of Cold Snapdragons can eliminate bucket heads. When plant food is used, Cold Snapdragon unleashes a powerful icy blast that hits zombies in a 3x3 area. This does slightly less damage than regular Snapdragon's plant food ability, dealing just 1200 damage compared to 1800 damage. However, Cold Snapdragon's plant food ability has the additional benefit of slowing all zombies in the area and has a chance to freeze any surviving zombies. It should be noted that all Frostbite cave zombies are immune to the freezing effect and will only be chilled. Whilst we're here, apart from the minor issue I've just mentioned, Frostbite caves is actually very complimentary of Cold Snapdragon in general. A really cool, pardon the pun, trait which is unique to all ice plants apart from Mistletoe is that Cold Snapdragon cannot be frozen by the icy winds or hunter zombies' snowballs. One of Cold Snapdragon's biggest assets overall though is the sheer speed that they can be placed on the lawn due to their low sun costs. Especially if you use Gold Bloom, or even if you don't, to be honest, you can get a couple of these guys on the field before the zombies even start appearing. I think that can be a big challenge with some strategies, especially if several zombies are sent at you immediately in a level. It can be tricky to get good initial damage dealers on the field, but Cold Snapdragon solves this problem. And don't forget, you only need to place 2 of them to have all 5 lanes covered. Unlike with, let's say, a Walnut who already has a slow recharge rate, you have to have 5 of them down just to give every lane protection. This can be particularly useful in both arena and adventure mode when coming across explorer zombies, as you know just 2 Cold Snapdragons can render them useless from the beginning of a level. Cold Snapper's chilling effects also further help to support the rest of your team. This can be said about all freezing plants, but by being able to slow zombies down, this in turn means your offensive plants are given more time to land pretty much double the number of shots they normally would be able to. Even compared to big damage dealers like Wintermelon for example, Cold Snapdragon holds its own in the close quarters department. Cold Snappers is also really useful in Dark Ages. Specific zombies like Jesters for example are no match for it. Not only does it have the additional benefits I've just mentioned, but like with regular Snapdragon, Jesters are unable to reflect the attack. Not to mention, Cold Snapdragon's Ice Breath also doesn't just chill one zombie at a time, it has splash damage. This means that in Dark Ages and other worlds as well, gravestones pose a greatly reduced threat than they would otherwise. Cold Snapdragons can continue to attack and hit all zombies as well as break down graves at the same time. Our icy friend doesn't have to get through grave health before damage can be dealt. There are a few other zombies that Cold Snapdragons are good against, such as the Prospector zombie whose fuse can be extinguished, preventing them from exploding their way to the back of the lawn. Chickens and weasels are also no match for Cold Snapdragon due to the area of effect damage and chilling. It can also disable the T-Rex boost effect in Jurassic Marsh, can be good against glitter zombies in Neon Mixtape, and is even inedible to both mecha football zombies and punk zombies who can only push Cold Snapdragon Snapdragon away. Now, the biggest weakness of Cold Snapdragon is its inability to be paired with fire-based plants, as it basically nullifies its chill abilities. If a zombie has been chilled but then gets hit by a fire projectile, it will instantly revert the status effect. Fortunately, a lot of fire-based plants don't really do as much damage as ice and other types of plants, so I imagine if you are a Cold Snapdragon user, this probably doesn't bother you too much, but it's definitely worth noting. A similar issue which I mentioned earlier is presented by Frostbite cave zombies who are immune to Cold Snapdragon's plant food freeze effect. The only other zombies that can pose a threat to Cold Snapdragon include the scuba diving zombies who will not be affected by the ice mist whilst swimming, and then just basically anything else that has long range. Sticking with Big Wave Beach, the likes of Octo Zombie and Fisherman Zombie can cause these problems. Obviously, the main way to deal with these is to place the Snapdragons further forward, but that in turn comes with the risk of the plant getting overwhelmed. Then you have bigger zombies like Gargs who have larger health pools that can take a beating even from 2 rows of the Snapdragons. If you have a couple of plant foods handy, you can take them down fairly quickly, but these are instances that I typically find you need other plants to back Cold Snapdragon up with. Cold Snapdragon is an absolute powerhouse who can pretty much deal with anything you throw at him. Its low sun cost and fast recharge make it a perfect early level plant that can get all lanes covered with just 2 plants. Combining this with the chill effects to slow zombies down further and strong damage output, Cold Snapdragon is just an excellent multi-purpose and versatile plant that is able to fill several roles. Even if you don't want to use it as a stalling plant at the beginning of a wave, for example, it can still be a really effective offensive plant that also positively affects the rest of your team. As with all plants, Cold Snapdragon does have its limitations and weaknesses, but in the grand scale of things, these are pretty minimal. As far as premium plants go, I think if you're stumped on which to choose out of the many available, Cold Snapdragon guarantees to stand you in good stead and complement a variety of different strategies as long as no fire plants are involved. Anyway guys, that's about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think of Cold Snapdragon in the comments below, but other than that, remember to hit those like and subscribe buttons, turn on notifications, and if you would like to support the channel further, check out my Patreon page by clicking on screen or through the link in the description. Okay, thanks guys, bye.